guys, I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber Foster Jane cosplay, and today we're back at guys with Roswaal.
Episode 20 of season 2.
Yep.
You blanked for a sec.
I don't know why, but in my mind we were watching Steins Gate, so it's come.
Yeah,
whoa.
similar. Anyway, so yes, ReZero season 2 episode 20. Last episode we finished the memories for Emilia. She finished the first task. She basically saw how Fortuna died.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a new villain in this show, the Witch of Vanity. Mm-hmm. We gotta take care of her eventually, but before that we also have to free all the people that were frozen by Emilia when she lashed out trying to kill the witch. And to do that, we'll have also to defeat the serpent.
Also, it seems that we were fooled because Emilia is it's not confirmed that she's the witch daughter.
The last 3 episodes, basically ever since Echidna called her the witch's daughter, we've been pretty sure that she was the daughter of Satella, and we basically analyzed every episode since with that in mind. But then you guys have been telling us that this is more like an insult rather than a fact. Although, and it's true that now that I think about it, considering that she's a half elf with a human mother and a elf father, considering he's the brother to Fortuna, she can't be the daughter of the witch because the witch is also a half elf. Mm-hmm. So there's a deeper secret here. I'm not sure whose daughter she is or why she's that connected to Satella, why she's the key, why she's her spitting image. I had a crazy wild theory the other day about how time is not necessarily linear in this show, considering she has the time, the return by death.
That she might be Satella in the past?
No, but that was just a wild theory that came to me because I was like, if she's not Satella's daughter, then fuck, maybe she's like Satella.
But we did say many times that she might be Satella reincarnated or just Satella point.
Hear me out with this though, and I mean we shouldn't do this in the intro, but then it looks like we're
doing
so
much time.
I'm just gonna say that time is not necessarily linear, considering Subaru has returned by death, and with Echidna we got to see during task 2 every possible storyline that he abandoned, and basically there's a lot of jumping around in time in this show, and I was wondering if. And maybe, the Witch of Vanity is to blame for some of the stuff that happened back in the day, but there is still like 200 years that separate the death of Satella and Emilia's birth. So she can't be her daughter, but what if she was Satella herself? Kind of like, not maybe reincarnated, but maybe she's just, because I mean, there's also a reason why Satella loves Subaru, even though they never met. So what if Emilia is just Satella before she got the witch factor of envy? And the reason why she's so obsessed with Subaru is because she met Subaru already as Emilia. Oh. That was the theory that came to me the other day, and I was like, fuck, okay, this is a bit crazy.
That would mean then that Emilia/Satella will then go to the past during the witch time, and she... Well, if that's the case,
maybe it's a time travel thing. Maybe Vanity is to blame for something that happened with that Pandora. I keep calling her Vanity, but anyway, we will discuss this later. It's up in the air because you guys who also read the light novels don't know about this either. So we're all in the dark about this. So anyway. So yeah, that was it for Emilia, and we are now facing Roswaal, and we learned about the sanctuary, or at least they learned about the sanctuary, and we're gonna learn about the sanctuary today. So I said we jump in this episode.
Get some truth, guys.
Yes, it was a very long intro, sorry about that. Let's jump into this. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, if you want to know when these episodes come out, and check out our Patreon for the full reactions.
Alright, so let's watch it, guys.
Okay, I talked about my theory at the beginning of the episode without knowing that in this episode they would literally kind of say stuff that goes towards my theory. But Roswaal is there saying stuff like, Everyone is weak. Basically, feelings make you weaker. Everyone is destined to fail. And we love those people, but we can't protect them. We can't, do anything for them. We're bound to be losers, basically. And that's his motto. And then he's saying, Emilia is no different. She is cursed. She's destined to go down the same path as the Witch of Envy. There's this whole thing about, a book that says what's about to happen, in this life. And both he and Beatrice were like hell-bent on following that book. It's all about history is already set in stone. We already know where it's going and we can't escape that fate.
So you think that history just repeating itself over and over again? Or?
Well, if it's already been written, I get why we have characters who say, we can't change things. It's going to happen exactly like it says it's going to happen. And if it's bound to repeat itself, it makes sense with what he said, with Emilia being cursed to basically be Satella. I think my theory might I think I might be onto something, but then I thought I was onto something before. And this show keeps surprising me.
So we're just jumping into another theory that makes sense.
But I do wonder, though, maybe someone cursed her. Maybe there was something with her when she was a baby that maybe has something to do with why her parents were not around. Maybe she is Satella, or maybe she's bound to become Satella. Because, Satella, what is she? I feel like, the witches are basically humans that took on the witch factor and got the powers. And we were saying in the comments and everything that basically Satella's factor did not agree with her, and she went crazy because she was really different in the world where she got to talk to Subaru, and she was more in control. Whereas when we were out there, it's like she was being possessed by her own sin. We talked about this. So if Emilia was to absorb the witch factor for whatever reason, maybe to kill the Witch of Vanity, which would be amazing. By the way, just killing the Witch of Vanity. Maybe she gets the factor, but she was not to, actually, it was not going to agree with her, and she's going to go berserk. Who knows? And that would explain why she knows Subaru or loves him.
What would you say if I told you that maybe the curse is not really on Emilia/Satella, but just on that world? And just like history itself, it's just repeating itself.
I don't know. I just want Subaru to break that loop.
It's like, for example, maybe in the future, Emilia is gonna become the new Satella. She's gonna go berserk, kill a bunch of witches, and she's gonna get sealed by a dragon, a knight, and a sage. I don't know.
And that's the thing. Like the best knight in history exists.
Years later, history is gonna repeat itself again and again and again.
And the thing is, it's not that crazy. We literally have the best knight in history in this timeline.
True.
And I don't know what Subaru does in this story, but he has vowed to protect, to save Satella and protect Emilia, which could end up being one and the same, basically.
But, okay, what did they use in the first place to seal off Satella?
I don't remember the specifics, but
in
any case, I think that if it's a thing about, history is repeating itself, I feel like the first time around they didn't get to save Satella, they didn't get to protect everyone, and now Subaru is going on his own journey to do just that. And it's written that he's gonna fail, which is why Roswaal keeps testing him, because in order for him to succeed, he basically got to abandon his emotions, abandon himself, and be just like Roswaal, which I'm not sure would work. Maybe, and we talked about how Roswaal could basically be a similar version to Subaru and stuff. Maybe if history is repeating itself, maybe the guy who was Subaru from back then, went Roswell's way. There's this thing with ReZero about, I wrote a book. There's a book about what if he had, become the Archbishop of whatever, or what if he had become evil. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of what ifs. So what if Subaru had gone the way Roswaal wanted it to go, and then he fails, and this Subaru is, making different choices.
Believing in strength then, more than weakness?
I don't know. Because it could turn out that what he's doing right now is going to play directly into Faith's hands, and it's not going to work.
Like I said, yes, Roswaal and Subaru are technically alike. It's just that Subaru's way of thinking is really more uplifting for everybody.
Yeah, right now.
You can see what it's doing to Garfiel, Otto, Emilia.
Right now, but that's
Right
because
now.
the witches basically helped them. They gave them that. They gave him that speech. If they did not help him before, he would have been in a pit of despair.
Yeah, but now that he's changed, that he's seeing things differently,
Yeah.
I think that we're onto a good start, you know?
I mean, I like my theory. Before we had the theory that she was Satella's daughter, which didn't make any sense.
Well,
now that we think about
okay,
it,
yeah.
but
In season 1, we said, oh, maybe she's the reincarnation of Satella.
or the witch's daughter.
The witch daughter. Maybe she's Satella split in two, just like in Silent Hill or something.
She's the body version of
And Satella's spirit is sealed somewhere. So it pretty much kind of the same thing if you think about it.
It's just funny to talk about possible outcomes for this show or possible ways this show could go, because this show is really good at manipulating us towards one ending and then completely go in another way.
But you know what we should do instead of just thinking that who is she? Is she Satella, our daughter, our spirit? We should just stop and just think that no, she's Emilia.
Well, she is Emilia.
No, she's Emilia. We should.
But that's how Subaru sees it.
Yeah.
Like Roswaal, what he said this episode was she is bound to go down the same path as Satella, basically. So it's like they see her as a Satella reborn, as the basically another Satella 2.0. But if you see her as only that, yes, of course you're going to treat her differently. You're going to push her towards exactly where she needs to go for that to happen or not happen, depending on what you want. You're going to be seeing her as a pawn on a chessboard, whereas Subaru decides to fuck Faith and be like, no, I'll see her as Emilia, and if she needs me, I'll be there, and I trust in her strength, which is what seems to be working right now.
Yeah.
I want him to break that streak. I want him to prove Roswaal wrong, which, by the way, I keep wondering, like, I thought we were going to get answers this episode. I thought they had learned a lot during this flashback, but I'm like, we still didn't get to see.
With Roswaal, we always got more and more questions.
Know. Like, who is that guy? You know, the demon of melancholy?
Devil of melancholy.
Devil of melancholy.
But he's someone that Echidna
as a past with.
To know.
Yeah, it's like he knew her when she was a kid. The way he talked, that's...
Yeah.
Unless it was just his way of flirting with her, but
yes.
they were specifically, creating the sanctuary to protect her from him, from the way, from what I gathered in this episode.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, so...
But yeah, speaking of Echidna, I love that the only time that we technically saw her face was in Roswaal pupil.
And she looked evil.
She looked evil with the distorted smile, and every single time that we saw her afterwards, only her body and her mouth, never her eyes. So
you know how
she
what
wasn't
that says,
trustworthy.
Yeah, what that says is she's saying something, but she's thinking another.
She had a secret agenda from the beginning, and I think that she really did plan on using Ryuzu's
but maybe the thing
body
is
as the cover the barrier.
Maybe the thing is you couldn't force her to do that, and she had to do it on her own.
She manipulated them. She's good at it.
Well, yeah, that's what I just said. Maybe the thing is you couldn't force Ryuzu to do that. She had to do that on her own for the sanctuary to work, and so she basically manipulated everyone to see how they would react, and it reacted exactly like she wanted. They created the sanctuary with Ryuzu's sacrifice, which, by the way, is really sad because that little girl seems to have lived her entire life, thinking that, oh, my life wasn't necessarily my own. It was given to me because she was saved by Echidna, she said. So she was saved by Echidna. Yeah, great. But now you get to live your own life. But that's never how she saw it. She saw it as, I was granted a chance and I owe it to her, so I'll spend my entire life basically thanking her for this and living for her and for, this chance that she gave me. And then in the end, when she actually gets to... She did say to Beatrice that, I spent time with you and Roswaal and, I did things that were my own choices. But then the ultimate choice that she made was for others, but it was her choice, which makes everything seem so tragic and ironic. And it's really sad because she was Beatrice's first actual friend, and her last, it looks... Well, it depends on when she meets Betelgeuse, but it looks like she's going to be one of her biggest and greatest friends, and now she's going to lose... She lost her And then Beatrice is going to spend the next 400 years in her library.
Waiting for someone.
Ah, that's her curse. Always. You know, she struggles with social interactions and she struggles with making friends. I think it's because she doesn't truly understand how she's supposed to interact. Like, she's a spirit. She was created by Echidna. But then Echidna's her mother, but she doesn't really talk about herself like she's her mother. So she's in a family, but she doesn't have this sense of family. And then she gets to live with these humans, but she doesn't really understand the concept of friendship. I think she got to discover that a little bit, but then that was broken with Ryuzu's sacrifice, so she keeps looking for a way to interact with someone and get someone that is really special for her. And Echidna played with that.
She also played with Roswaal, if you think about it. The way that she seduced him by showing him how to release his mana because he was sick and suffering. I think he was maybe even dying, I don't know.
Well, they couldn't control, the energy.
But she showed him a way to use his mana to be useful, to be healthier.
So she could use him then.
So she could use him to create the barrier,
And he fell in love with her, and he's been hung up on her for 400 years, and it's pushed him to the brink of craziness. And I'd like to see more of what happened with Roswaal.
I want to know how he did it ended up with one golden eye.
Well, maybe he was mad. He was changed. Like, maybe something happened with the guy of the devil of melancholy. You know, I was thinking maybe he, whatever's going on with that guy, maybe Roswaal became that guy, which would be crazy. But that depends on what he is. So, in any case, I kind of want to see the next episode and see like.
But yeah, before that, you did have this question if you think that maybe by destroying the sanctuary, maybe the Ryuzu's gonna be released from the crystal.
I think honestly, I do think that she merged with the crystal, and destroying the barrier means destroying Ryuzu.
Well, usually that's what happened,
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see what they do, get their take on what they learned, and push through, because we got to do this without Roswaal's help. Like, he will not pull Elsa away from the manor, so...
Well, we were okay without him for...
but that would make things a lot easier, though.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. If you want to see the next one right away, it is on Patreon already. The link is in the description below. Check it out.
And if you don't, wait for the next one to be out on YouTube, which will be next week, guys.
Yes.
So, see you then.
Bye!